Hi guys, it's Mark. So if you're applying for jobs but not getting any responses, the chances are your CV, or resume as they say in America, is letting you down. I've hired a lot of people over the years and I can tell you that most CVs don't even make it past the first glance. Employers don't have time to dig through pages of irrelevant information. If your CV doesn't stand out for the right reasons, it's getting ignored. Most CVs actually fail because of 7 main mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to explain how you can fix these so you can stand out from the competition. Firstly, avoid fancy formatting. Having unique designs can damage your chances. When I come across a CV with a fancy design, my first thought is, what are they trying to cover up and distract me from? I get that you want your CV to stand out, but don't rely on flashy designs to do it. Let the content speak for itself. This is even more important nowadays, as most companies don't even look at all the CVs they get because they scan them with AI software to narrow down the best candidates. So that's why it's good to have a CV that is easy to scan and formatted in a way that the system can read, which means sticking to a straightforward layout and including keywords relevant to the job that you're applying for. For this reason, it's also important to use simple, easy to read fonts like Arial or Calibri, and avoid using all capitals for sentences unless it's for a heading. And please, no photos. This isn't a dating profile and pictures can actually work against you. There is a slight caveat to this though. If you're applying for a more creative role, then fancy designs could work in your favour. However, it's still a risk I wouldn't recommend taking. Secondly, avoid making it too lengthy. 1 page is ideal, but never go above 2. No recruiter wants to read your entire career history. Cut out jobs from 10 years ago that don't matter anymore and don't list every skill under the sun. Focus on what's actually relevant. I see so many CVs with generic objective statements like, I'm hardworking and a motivated individual looking for opportunities to grow. That tells me nothing. Remember, employers spend an average of 7 seconds scanning a CV. If they can't quickly see why you're a good fit, they'll move on to the next one. I've had CVs that were 4 pages long with tiny font and no structure. These are a headache just to look at, so it puts you off even wanting to give them a chance, especially when other applicants send a simple, well-organised CV that highlights their relevant experience. Thirdly, avoid starting weak. The first thing on your CV should be a strong summary that quickly tells an employer who you are and what you bring to the table. Keep it short, around 3 to 5 sentences is perfect. Be specific about your skills, experience, and the value you add. Too many people write vague, generic statements like hardworking team player, looking for an exciting role. Instead, make it clear what you do and back it up with numbers or achievements. Something like digital marketer who increased conversions by 40% through SEO and paid ads. This instantly shows impact and gives a reason to keep reading. Fourthly, avoid just talking about your responsibilities. When you list past jobs, don't just write down your responsibilities. Show what you actually achieved. Employers don't just want to know what you did, they want to know how well you did it. So a great way to do this is by using the challenge, action, result method. This is when you first explain the challenge or problem you faced, then describe the action you took to solve it, and finally highlight the result in a measurable way. For example, instead of saying responsible for sending emails, you could say, increase customer retention by 25% through a targeted email campaign. That one sentence tells me what you did, how you did it, and what impact it had. Fifth, avoid sending generic CVs. It's so important to not just send the same one to every job you're applying for. Trust me, it won't make you stand out. Employers are looking for specific things, and if you don't show them that your skills match what they need, you're basically wasting your time. Think of your CV like an outfit. You wouldn't wear the same thing to a wedding, a job interview, and then the gym. Tailor it to fit the occasion. Look at the job description. Pick out 3 to 5 skills or qualities they're asking for and make sure your CV shows them that you've got those covered. An easy way to do this is by using a word cloud generator. This picks out the top keywords in a job description, so you can see exactly what words or phrases are getting used the most. Then take those words and sprinkle them into your CV where it makes sense. Employers are more likely to notice your CV because it's used in the same language they've used in the job posting. I can't tell you how many times this tactic has worked on me. It makes me feel like the candidate actually understands what I'm looking for. Sixth, Avoid silly typos. This might sound basic, but it's where most people slip up. I've seen hundreds of CVs and 8 out of 10 of them have at least one typo. A missed comma, a spelling error, or weird formatting. It might seem small, but to an employer, it screams careless. I get it. I'm dyslexic myself, so I know how easy it is to make small mistakes, and I've had to work extra hard to make sure my writing is clear. So I'm not saying your CV needs to be perfect, but it does need to show effort. So make sure to use a tool like Grammarly, read it out loud, and always get someone else to check it over. You'd be amazed what a fresh pair of eyes can catch. It may take a few extra minutes, but it could be the difference between getting an interview or getting binned. 7th, don't forget all your contact details. You need to make it super easy for employers to get in touch with you. I can't stress this enough. You want to keep it professional, so include a clear, easy to read email address and your phone number. I've seen too many CVs where people only include one or the other, and that just makes things harder. Make sure you've also got your city and country listed. No need to put your full address, that's just extra and unnecessary. These days, employers will want to see your online presence, and LinkedIn is the easiest way to show them that you're serious and professional. If you've done some networking and have a great profile, they'll take notice. Look, the key to writing an amazing CV is to keep it simple. Focus on your achievements, not your job description. Show the employer what you've done and how you've made a difference. Keep it tight, keep it relevant, and avoid any mistakes. If you do this, you'll already be ahead of 90% of the applicants out there. I hope you found this useful, and as always, if you have any questions, just let me know.